we are going to map the ER to the relational model. It must be typed and submitted in a PDF format, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to type it in here and submit it. We're just going to screenshot it and put it into a PDF file. That's what I always do. But for this one, what we need to do is first start off with an element. I'm going to pick branch. If you don't know how to do this, there's videos in the playlist link below the like button where we go over all the material for this. But this is really just another in-depth example, the most in-depth that we've done. So we have our branch, this is our element. We know we're going to have parentheses and we're going to have our attributes in here. We have address and we have name. So we have address and we have our key, so we need to do a underline for our name. So we have address and name for our branch. Now we also have what's connected to it, a customer. So let's make our customer element. Notice how I skipped over favorite. We're going to do relationships after we do the elements that they're in between. So with our customer, we are going to have a address. We are going to have a SSN, social security number. This also needs to be underlined. Very important because it is a key. So we have our SSN here, and we can actually uppercase this. We are going to have our name, but we want the lower attributes, not this composite part. So we need the first name. We also need last name, and then we need our phone number. So you have all of these inside of here. Now our customer relates to our branch. It's going to go from customer, favorite, branch. So we have an one-to-many relationship here. We know that we are going to side the favorite with the element that has the many. So that's what we're going to do here. Our customer has this many, and this many needs to relate to our branch. Well, the way they relate is with a key. And so this customer is going to relate to the branch by using the branch name. So we can do B, name, and then we can end this line. And that's going to be it for our branch and the customer for this, but we could have some for borrows or owns. Now let's look at account. We're going to go down. So down here is where we have our account. It is an element. And now we can put everything inside of here. Note how we have balance. We have our account number. This needs to be underlined because it is a key. So we have count no. And then we have our account type. So we'll just do a type. And we have a fee associated with it. Now I'm closing this off because we have a many-to-many relationship here. And with a many-to-many relationship, it needs its own entity. So we have owns. It's not really an entity, but we make its own thing right here. It has the attribute of own date. So there's that we're going to put in here. And now owns is a relationship between customer and account. So it needs to associate with the keys between both of these. So it's going to associate with the social security number. And then it's also going to associate with the account number. So we're going to take both of these and we're going to put them inside of here. Now we need to draw lines to these, but we'll do that afterwards. That way we don't get anything mixed up right now. But this is how it's going to look. We have our SSN and account number and the own date attribute with our owns. So this part is done. Now let's look to the left. We have our actual loan part. So with our loan, we're going to have this as the element. We are going to have the amount, the type. We are going to have the interest rate, and we're going to have the loan number right here. So we have all of these. And now let's look at the relationship in between them. We have borrows. It's a many-to-many. So what we're going to need to do is have our borrows have its own part right here. With borrows having its own part, it needs to relate to both our customer and our loan. Notice how our loan number should actually be underlined. So I'll take this and underline it, and loan number is going to be the key for this part here. Now, what else is the key is our element's social security number. So we're going to take that and paste it in here as well. Now we can look down to payment. Payment is a weak entity. So we're going to have our payment, and it's still, just because it's a weak entity, it still has its own entityness. We're going to have the payment amount. We're going to have the method. We're going to have our status. We are going to have our due dates. Now we also need our payment number. because this is still a key of this. With all of this done, and we can actually capitalize this, and then we can do payment number. With all this done, we can do one last thing and look at this relationship. Notice how it's a one-to-many. And with a one-to-many, we always look at the side with the many. So with the side with the many, we are going to have our payment be associated with the loan, because the payment is kind of the dependent of the entity of loan. And so after our loan number right here, we need to have the key that it's related to. And this key is going to be the loan underscore number. And since it's a weak entity, it's a key, we're going to underline it like this. Should also change this to payment amount. We're going to close this parenthesis and then just do some little simple word corrections in here. Now, after we do all of these, we need to relate these. We need to put the foreign keys with the primary keys. Now, notice that a few things we have, we can just start from the top here with customer and branch. Customer relates to our branch, and we go from the branch name to our actual name. So these are going to relate. Now, let's go for the next one. We have this owns right here. And owns goes from the customer and account. It's a multi-value attribute, so we're going to have two arrows coming out of it. So we have our account number going to account, and we have our social security number connecting with our customer. After this, we have our borrows. And this borrows is many to many, so it has its own thing. That means it's going to connect with both our customer, and it's going to snake around here just because its customer is all the way up here. So we have customer here, and then we have this loan number going to the loan number. Lastly, we have our payment, and our payment is just going to the loan. So we're going to go from our loan number to the actual loan right here. And that is how we would go about solving for this. This was a really cool example, really in-depth, testing everything that we've looked over so far. And this is how we would do this problem.